Hi everyone, I'm Heather Brandt, Associate Dean for Professional Development in the Graduate School at the University of South Carolina. And it's my pleasure today to be here with Beth Herron and Lauren Clark, who are in the Office of Research at the University of South Carolina. And in addition to the important information that they've shared with you as graduate students about funding, we're going to take a few minutes and do a little bit of Q&A with them to take advantage of their willingness to participate in Professional Development Fridays. So Beth and Lauren, could you share with us some of the success stories that you've seen related to graduate student funding here at USC over the years?
I won't give specific names.
Yeah, let's no specific names here,
but in general, there are students who have received funding through the SPARK program, which is our internal graduate research grant program here at USC through the Office of the Vice President for Research. And there are students who have used that opportunity to collect seed data to hone their grant writing skills and have turned around and received major research fellowships for either postdocs or for the remainder of their graduate experience, which is very exciting.
That's amazing.
Yes, and the other success stories that I really like too are those students who apply and are not funded initially, but they get really good feedback and they use that feedback to strengthen their proposal and they come back and they're funded the next year. Those are also very exciting stories.
Those are great. How about you, Beth? Can you think of any success stories to add in?
From the graduate student perspective?
Yeah.
But it's always rewarding to work with graduate students who are applying for big national fellowships, which is primarily what I see in my role in the Office of Research. And I think to echo what Lauren said, even if they end up not getting funded, they appreciate the feedback they receive, and it's a positive experience for them to go through the grant writing process, regardless of the funding outcome.
So I really like these success story examples that have been shared because you can see with the successful outcomes can mean different things. So in the case of some of these examples, the success was funding being awarded, which led to additional funding, but also success in terms of learning about the process of being able to persuasively articulate your research and practice making that argument for what you're working towards. So what are some of the tips you might have for graduate students? I know you teach the Grant Basics workshop, usually in the fall semester. And in fact, we're pleased to host Beth and Lauren for a webinar on December 2nd, which you can register for, and we'll put that information with this video. But what might be some tips that you would have for graduate students?
Well, my first tip would be to register for COS Pivot, which this university subscribes to, and all faculty, staff, and students can register for free. And if you register, you can use it anywhere in the world. And it's a wonderful resource for finding funding opportunities, and for not just faculty, but for students. And they have a lot of dissertation grants, travel grants, smaller funding opportunities. And the website, just Google Pivot, COS Pivot, and it's very self-explanatory about how to register and get started with funding searches.
So students can actually go into this search engine, indicate that I'm a student and this is the type of funding I'm looking for.
You can narrow the searches down in a myriad of ways if you're a U.S. citizen or if you're not a U.S. citizen, if you have a certain funding threshold, certain disciplines, certain keywords. It's a really powerful funding database, and you have to use your USC email to register. That's the only caveat because it is linked to our institutional subscription.
All right, and that's something else we'll make sure that we include along with this Q&A portion of the video today is a link for students to be able to access Pivot. So that's an important tip. In order to apply for funding, you have to know where are those opportunities. So how about you, Lauren? What would be a tip that you would have for graduate students?
I would encourage graduate students to understand who their audience is when they apply for grants, because the grant has to be written in a way that whoever the target audience for that program is and has for reviewers can understand and relate to that project.
That's also another great tip, because oftentimes for the SPARK grants or for other grants, you're writing for a much broader audience than you may anticipate. A broader audience in terms of who your team of mentors may be, who are very familiar with what you're doing. And so I think making sure that you're explaining what you're trying to do and making sure to include sufficient detail in that regard, it ties into that recommendation. And in closing, what other resources are you offering for graduate students, or are you willing to provide or offer for graduate students, just to let them know more about the great work you've been doing here on campus?
Well, at the moment, we have the Spark program. We have the Grant Basics program, which was a live workshop earlier in the semester. And
Coming in a webinar
in December, so everyone will have the opportunity.
And we've been doing that
attend.
annually for the
Yes,
last
great.
several years.
And we have really good turnout and really good response to that program.
Wonderful. And then I wanted to try to feed you a little bit for some information on the Postdoc Association that's here on campus. Is there anything you can share with us about that?
Absolutely. We have a postdoctoral association here at the University of South Carolina that our office supports, and the postdoctoral officers make their own decisions about the types of professional development seminars they would like to have. They've talked about alternative careers in science, how to negotiate your first job offer. There's been a multi-part series before on the parts of a faculty application package and how to put that together. Graduate students are welcome to attend all of the workshops that are available to the postdocs. And another wonderful resource available to graduate students is we have an affiliate membership, or we have a sustaining institutional membership with the National Postdoctoral Association. And similar to Pivot, anyone affiliated with the University of South Carolina, faculty, staff, student, may go on to the NPA website and register using their UofSC email and can become an affiliate member of the National Postdoctoral Association, which makes all of their resources available to the affiliate members.
Wow, that's an incredible resource for graduate students here at the university, is to be able to not only to utilize the programming that originates here at the university, but to take advantage of these national organizations that the university has an institutional membership with. Really opens the doors for a lot of additional information and learning opportunities for you. Now, here on campus, if someone wanted to learn more about the Postdoctoral Association or get involved with the Postdoctoral Association, who's the best person for them to contact?
Well, I think the best thing for them to do would be to go on the UofSC webpage and search for Postdoctoral Association. We have a webpage hosted on the research website for the Postdoctoral Association, and they can join our listserv, and then they'll be receiving all of the email communications from the postdoctoral officers. And there's also a list of the postdoctoral officers currently on the website.
That's excellent, and we'll make sure that we include the link for the Postdoctoral Association here at the university too. So I just really want to thank you, Beth, and thank you, Lauren, for taking time today to participate in our Q&A session. So be sure to check out Beth and Lauren's main blog and check out our #GradProfDEV resources this Friday.